Hello pilots and welcome to Motion RC Live. Today is a super exciting day. We have the all new 64 millimeter F-14. Can't talk yet this morning. The joys of being live. But I am super excited to see all of you guys start getting these. They have been flying off the shelf like crazy, so I know we're going to be seeing customers receiving them very shortly. I've already seen a lot of shipping notifications getting posted up on our Motion RC Facebook customer community, and it's going to be a great weekend for a lot of pilots. I have the comment section off to the side so I can try and keep up with it. Lori's behind the screen as always. I know James is down in there. A lot of the guys from Motion RC are watching along with us. If you have questions, this is the Q&A today. I'm going to really go in depth on the aircraft as much as I can and show you around this new model. So it's so nice to see this airplane come out, and I'm very happy to see all of you guys. Welcome Dean. Mine will be here Friday. Yeah, I've seen lots of guys. Big Jim, what's up? Andy's toy box. Couldn't read it from here. It's kind of small. Howdy, cowboy. That's right. All good to see you guys in here today live. Like I said, we're going to spend an hour or so just kind of going over all of the features of this model that I can, answer as many questions that I've been getting throughout our different social media platforms, all in this one place. So hopefully we can answer as much as we can. As you can see, here's the model on the table. It's a really clean looking paint job. We love the Jolly Rogers on here. It's very visible in the air with these white pieces that are on the leading edge too. It really helps be able to see the model in the air. And this one is fast. Now, I have not radared it yet. Hopefully we can do that this weekend. I am going to be at Jack's Jet Madness, which is in Jacksonville this weekend. And so if you're in that area, I will be flying this airplane all weekend there. They do have a grass strip for everybody that's been asking. I plan on flying the aircraft out of the grass. I don't think there's going to be any issue flying off of a well-manicured grass runway. Now, that being said, it is not a bush aircraft. Let's make sure everybody's clear on that. But if you have a well-maintained grass strip, yeah, I don't think you're going to have any issues with this. It has tons and tons of horsepower. But yeah, anyway, let's start getting into the airplane. Now, as you can see, it does have the lights on the aircraft. They're on right now. Lori, let's get to the other shot for a second. Just kind of go over some of the up-close details of the aircraft. Maybe some of you guys haven't seen yet. But you can see you've got the lights on the top. They also are on the bottom. You also have them out here on the wingtips of the aircraft. And just trying to give y'all a little closer look of the F-14. It is a very good looking model right out of the box. I have the ordnance set on the aircraft right now. These are our kind that just clip on and off. Let's see if I can grab a hold of it right from here. But there you go. You can take the missiles on and off. And then actually the pylons can be removed too with 2 screws, and we'll flip it over here in a minute and show you that. But you just put them in and key them back like that. Full flying stabilizers, and a lot of guys have been asking, this is how it comes right out of the box. You plug it into your receiver and the mixing is done for you. So your tailerons and your elevator are done for you right out of the box through the control board. And we're going to pop the wing plate off here in just a minute and let you guys see inside of that where that actually works. But yeah, let's come back to me, Lori. Now, I know there's already been a question on this. I'm going to go on and answer it right now. So I'm going to sweep the wings, and I'm going to give this measurement right off the bat because I've had this question already several times. How wide is it for car transportation? And it is roughly 31 inches with the wings swept across. So I'm going to try and keep it up in here, but I had that question earlier. I wanted to go on and answer that right off the bat. So for guys that are trying to get this in their car, about 31 inches is how much of an opening you need to get that in the car. The other thing I saw, I made a quick tip on it yesterday. You can assign the wing sweep to a 2-position switch or a 3-position switch, or in this case, I have it on a slider right now, so you have infinite amount of adjustability. The other question, hit me. The other question I've had is if you put it on a slider, will it disable the flaps? Yes, it will. I'll just show you that right now. I can flip the flap switch and nothing will happen. Let's just go on and put them all the way down, and when we put the wings all the way out, they will automatically drop for us at that point. So yes, it will disable them when you have it on a slider. So there you go. That answers that question also. Now, let's go on and start taking the wing plate off, because I want to show you some of the bigger changes that I know a lot of guys have been wanting to know. It's a 2.5 millimeter Allen key to get the wing off. Let me grab a little bucket to throw these screws in so I don't end up losing them. Always keep me a little bucket around.
Can you add reverse thrust on the slider?
You could, but it won't be variable. The reverse thrust is either on or off. What it does is basically reverses your throttle channel. So as you start to pick up your throttle again, it gives you the adjustability in the throttle channel. So it really should just be on a 2-position switch. I like it on a momentary. On Futaba, let me grab my radio here. On Futaba, I like to put it up here on the SH switch, which is the momentary switch on Futaba transmitters. For customers that fly Spectrum, it would be the bind button right here for your thrust reversing. And like I said, I'm gonna go back into unscrewing it. What's wrong? Oh, did it flip over? Oh. Got Lori doing something over here.
The computer was still playing music. I can hear you again and again. What is this sound?
Oh, my bad. She said I forgot to turn the sound all the way off on my computer. Any other questions I haven't seen yet?
Nothing that James hasn't already answered.
Do you have your thing on? No, the volume on yours. I keep hearing it twice. It's like it's coming from your... Anyway, I'm getting the wing plate off. Having a little kerfuffle here on our end. Anyway, so there's the wing plate off. It's not my phone. It's my phone. My phone was playing in the bottom. I was like, I keep hearing myself talk. There we go. I got it fixed. All right, Lori, let's go to the top shot for a second, and let's show them inside the wing mechanism now. And I also want to show the gyro while we're in here, guys. So as you can see, here is the inside of the wing plate area. You can see it's been reinforced. Now, the landing gear are actually right underneath these metal plates. And I wanted to show you this, for a lot of guys have been asking about how they beefed up the retracts on this model. The plates are extended over the retract themselves. The retract's right underneath this. So it does have reinforcement right on top of it. That's going to really stiffen that up. You can also see our gyro here. Now, the cool thing when you're programming it, I have the gyro turned off right now, but if I were to put it into another position, so right now it's in stabilization, you can see that the green light right here on top comes on the gyro. And then if we put it in self-leveling mode, it will turn blue. So this is how you can kind of do this as you're setting it up. What I tell a lot of guys, when you're setting it up, make sure you have it in self-leveling mode to check the gyro. Let's go to the front for just a second. And I've got a quick tip coming out for you on this, but when you get your aircraft all assembled and you've checked all of your controls are the right way, you can then just tilt the aircraft in self-leveling mode to make sure the gyro is working. So if I go with the nose down, the elevator is going to go up to try and bring the aircraft back to center. If I go down, if I do the nose up, it's going to put down elevator in. Then to check my ailerons, I can tilt it up on its side and see that the ailerons start to correct, and the other way to see that they correct. And that's how you're going to test your gyro. Now, one thing I ran into on the aircraft during my setup, I got it all done. My elevator went the right direction, but my gyro correction was backwards on the elevator. If you run into that, it's as simple as taking the 2 elevator leads on the control board and swapping the ports. So just take them and go over to the other side. And that will correct that. You'll have to reverse the elevator once you do that. But make sure you guys are checking that before your first flight. I also want to go into some radio setup tips for you guys here in just a second, but what's our next question?
Sorry, I just want to get this on before I lose it. Is there enough room in the nose to mod a nose wheel?
Not mod?
Nose wheel light, sorry.
More than likely. I don't know that you need it, but here in a second, guys, we'll flip the aircraft over and we'll start looking at the retracts more closely. Right now, while we've got the wing plate off, let's really focus on this for just a few minutes. Now, the servos are different than the larger counterpart aircraft, being that you can do your variable sweep on a knob. Let's go to the top shot so they can see this. And you can actually see that mechanism working now. And I can put it in a bunch of different positions there just so you can see what it looks like with the wing plate off right now. I'm going to try and focus in on this area for now. Also on the assembly video, I do go over how to put all this together. So make sure you're checking that, guys, out before you get yours in and put it together. We have a full assembly video on this. I did use a little bit of Loctite on some of these fittings. You don't have to. Another thing that works great, if you don't have Loctite, it's just a little drop of thin CA. It'll run down in there and you can still crack it off. You just need to make sure that that's not getting into the ball bearings underneath this. These have ball bearings underneath both of your points, and you need to make sure that those don't get damaged. All right. Lori's laughing and trying to tell me there's another question.
There's another question, but first off, James says, why she got to warn us before you take the top off?
That's right.
The question is, and you might have to repeat because I don't have a mic. Is the gyro allowed for splitting the flight control surfaces such as ailerons and rudders?
It will in the future, but right now the gyro comes pre-programmed as it is. I would tell you to leave it as it is right out of the box, guys. This thing flies fantastic. As it comes, you really don't need to take and separate all the channels. If you want to, all of your connections are right here on the top. You're going to be able to unplug this and plug it straight into your receiver. But I really don't recommend it. This airplane flies so good with the included gyro already pre-programmed out of the box. I would highly recommend you just stay like this. Now, I know there's going to be guys that want to do full custom things where you can crow in your rudders and you can do full span ailerons and everything. As it comes out of the box right now, though, I probably wouldn't mix and match gyros and things with this aircraft. I recommend you fly it just as it is. But if you choose, all of your servo wires are right here. You could unplug all of them and plug them straight into the receiver to do a custom setup, no issue. But I wouldn't mix two gyros together and try and do other things. That's just asking for a world of hurt. Let's see.
Can you change the gyro settings in game?
Okay, so you will be able to in the future. We have a companion app. Oh, sorry. Okay, so their question was, can you adjust the gains in this E20 included gyro? In the future, yes. We have a companion app that is in development right now that's going to come out that's going to be able to program this. It is not out yet, but it's coming soon. But like I said, I've got quite a few flights on this. We have another developer here in-house that has a lot of flights on this airplane. And we're very confident that the gyro settings are perfect for this aircraft right out of the box. I really recommend you try it as it is because it's really good how it is. But yes, for customers in the future, there will be a companion app to where you can program this right from your phone, but it's not out just yet. It's coming, guys. All right, let's see. We'll leave the wing plate off for now. Let's move up to the battery bay. Now, for customers that didn't see this yesterday, I did post up on the Motion RC social media platforms on Facebook and everywhere else a bunch of different batteries in here. Now, right now I have a 6,000 milliamp battery in here, and now I've ran into some different 6,000s are too big. This is a 6000 50C Pro Pack from here at Motion RC, our Admiral, and it just clears the shelf, and it's actually setting all the way back in here up to the firewall. You can slide it all the way back in there, and I can hit the CG. Now, the aircraft is going to be heavier like this, so you guys that keep asking me about grass, I don't recommend a heavy battery. You're going to want to keep your aircraft as light as you can for that. So 5,000, 4,000. But for guys that have a long paved runway, I think you're going to be fine getting away with a 6,000 in there. It's just going to fly a lot heavier, but you can hit the CG marks with that. The loom from the back here is already pre-ran underneath the battery shelf, and it comes out right here in the front of the battery bay. And I have my receiver mounted right here. Yep. Here we go. So you can see there's the loom of wires coming up. I actually have my reverser unplugged right now, right here. But there's the whole loom comes up right here in the front, and there's plenty of room in this section to mount your receivers, or whatever else you're wanting to put. And I got an antenna going this way, and I have an antenna under the battery going that way, to make that a successful area. Now, I will say the 6s are pretty tight. The 5100 carbon is extremely tight. I can get it in here, I can still close it, but it's a little nose heavy that way. I have not tried to fly it with the carbon yet. I plan on putting a bunch more flights on this weekend and keep on keeping everything I can up to date for you guys, answering questions. But yes, I've flown it a bunch on the 4s and the 5s, and it feels really good with those. But I also squeaked the 6 in there, and like I said, for guys that have a longer runway, I think you're going to be okay with the 6. All right, so that's pretty much the battery bay. There's not a lot to show you in here. You have the steering servo up here in the front. It's okay. All right, I closed it. Let me flip the aircraft over. May have to adjust the, actually, I can just grab this and we can set it on the table so it's not standing so high up when we do this. But I'm gonna flip the aircraft over now, and we'll get into the retracts and things on the bottom. I know a lot of guys want to see that. Yeah, would you grab that with me? Oh, I need to turn the gyro off too, or it's gonna freak out when we flip the airplane upside down. There we go. Now I'll flip the airplane over. Oops. There we go, and we can get into the bottom of the aircraft. So let me see, can we see everything? Okay, so let's show those retracts real quick. I know a lot of guys want to see that. Can you come to the top view real quick? So they are twist and turn. They are reinforced. You can see the reinforcement plates all around them. These things are in there, guys. I have had some not so pretty landings, and they are still doing good. You can see the suspension is pretty soft on this aircraft because I can squeeze it with just my fingers. Let's flip the gear though once for you here. You'll see them twist, turn, and go down in there. Now, when you have the missile rails on, it really hides the wheels so you don't see them too much. There are also 2 Allen keyed screws right here on the top, and this whole rail comes off. What I recommend, guys, take these off for your first flight. But anyway, back to the wheels. You can see those twists and turns. Let's put them back out for you again. I know a lot of guys wanted to see this. Takes a second for the gear door to open on the nose. There you go. I will also say these wheels are different than they've been in any of the other Freewing models. Can we zoom in a little bit on this, Lori? Let me see here, guys. Got my lovely assistant behind us running the camera. I want to give you all a good look at these. They really detailed out the, yep, you're good. They really detailed these out nicely on this aircraft though. There we go. Come on in so y'all can get a look at them. There you go. You can see the wheels are real detailed on this model though. Beautiful little setting on that. And they are, you know, just as nice to roll as you can. Look at that. All ball bearinged out. But, all right, let's zoom out just a hair now so they really get a good shot of the strut going in and out, because I know a lot of guys really want to see this. It's going to go this way. There you go. Here we go. We'll give you a real close-up shot of that now. And then back out. And here in just a second, we'll get that front retract bay. Give you as close details as we can here. Look at that. All right, so now let's take a look up here in the front. Let's see, I can't see the camera. There we go. Let me see if I can turn the aircraft just a little bit so y'all can really see inside of it. There we go. Let's see, get it on the table. There we go. Now you can really see up in there. You have this little strut here in the back. That's just a nice scale detail reinforcement. It's a aluminum strut, and this is a plastic cladding that goes around it to give it that scale detail. It does also have the suspension here, as you can see. And you can see the plastic receiving points that are injection molded down into the foam. This is all the way up into here, and up to here is your reinforcement plates to make that nice and strong. Now let me go on and put that one up and down for you once real quick while we got a good shot of it. Can we do a size comparison? I knew it was coming. I have the aircraft over here for in a minute. We will do that.
Did you answer the tires soft or hard?
Hold on. Let that thing come out. They are hard. They're not really soft by any means. They're the same wheels that are on a lot of aircrafts as far as the tires. The details are a little different, but the tire material is the same. They're a hard foam. But yeah, there's all of that.
So considering for a runway, it's a rough, bumpy runway with fake grass material. Do you think it can handle it?
If you've got fake grass, yes. Now, like I said, guys, just remember, this isn't a fighter that was made to be flown off of like terrible hard hard runways that are potholed up, use your better judgment here. Guys that are flying like the F-16s, I'm just trying to think of other aircraft that are kind of a similar style. If you can fly the bigger one off of it, you're probably going to be okay too. Just use your better judgment. It's just not going to fly off of a hole-ridden, crazy tall thing. What I tell a lot of guys, measure your grass from the tire to the pin. If it's higher than that, it's probably too tall to take off and land on, So that's what I tell guys. You don't want it any taller than about the pin right here on your wheel. You've got to use your better judgment on that. Grass fields are always a little bit challenging to answer that question as because all of them are different. But yes, it shall take off of the grass. Okay, what's your next one? Where's it at?
Is the gear up and down dampening?
Yes. Does it have suspension? Yes. See if I can show you that again. I don't know if you can see that because it's kind of far away right now, but yes, this has suspension all the way around, straight up and down. There you go. So straight up and down. There's the suspension on the front. And let's see, can you see that one? There's that one too. Try and do that as best as I can with the airplane sitting here. While we're up here, you can also see the ordnance set. It does come with the aircraft. You get these missiles on the bottom too. They just unclip. And then if you don't want the rails, it's 2 screws to take the rails off also, right there on each side.
Compression strut, not compression.
Right. They're compression, not trailing link.
Does it have a tail?
It has a tail hook molded into the back. Let's see. Let me see if I can move the aircraft for a second. It does not operate though. Let's see.
Non-functioning.
There you go. Can you see that now if I hold it right there?
It's kind of
hard to see it.
It's hard to see white on white, but
Yeah. There is a tail hook molded into the back of the aircraft though, yes. All right, I'm gonna flip the airplane back over. Try not to tear anything up. Oh yeah.
one
Okay.
transmitter setup, what type of plane would this be? One aileron, one flap?
Yes. So he's asking what type of transmitter setup you're going to use. One aileron, one flap, and the E20 gyro. There we go. Will automatically recognize the negative 100 position on, no wait, positive 100? I'll have to look in the map. Right, hang on, let me grab my radio. It recognizes when it's in its full upright position though, to tell it that that's okay to sweep the wings. Because like I said, if you put the wings back and then you flip the flaps, it automatically disables them. So let me take a look real quick because I can't remember which way it is. Negative 100, yes. So negative 100 is flaps all the way up. I have negative 37 for my position 1 of takeoff flaps. And then I have positive 26 for my full flap position. I do not have a flap to elevator mix on any of it. I know a lot of guys are going to want to know about that. I do not have any flap to elevator mix for landing or takeoff flaps. It really doesn't balloon or anything on you with this aircraft, so there's really no need for that. So I'd start with 0 deflection on your tail. Now, if you fly it a few times and you feel like you need to add a little bit in there, I understand that, but I'm just telling you for your first flight, I didn't run any tail mix as far as flaps. Yep. So there you go on the flaps. So once again, negative 100 for your up position, 37% negative for the takeoffs, and 26 for the full is what I ran. Now, let's also, since we're into radio settings, let's get into my dual rates and expo, because this is pretty important on this aircraft. For guys that are flying this for their first flight, I do not recommend having 100% throw for your ailerons. It is very, very roll sensitive, with the wings swept especially. What I've been running it on, give me just a second. So for my ailerons, I've been running 65% rate, which is this much right here. And I can measure them. I got the stick here for it. And I've been running 20% expo. And it really helps soften up that center of the stick on that. This aircraft is pretty roll sensitive. So I really recommend maybe make that your mid rate. And my high is 80% with 30% expo. Now, I will tell you, I have been flying it pretty much every flight you've seen, 65%, 20% expo, and just left it there. I haven't got any flight modes or anything like that set up. You can, if you would like, to do a flight mode, so when you sweep the wings, it cuts the aileron deflection down then. The other big thing I did is it's gonna come with the servo horns. Let's see, I don't know how to show you this right now. Can they see the servo horns if I hold that right there on that camera?
Kind of.
So on the aileron servo horn, it comes on the outermost hole. What I did is I went in, let me look at it real quick. I went in 2 holes, and I'm 1 hole out from the innermost hole. Can you see that, guys? Like I said, this is kind of hard to show this part. Maybe if I flip the airplane over.
Flip it.
All right, here we go.
There you go. Well,
All right.
kind of, yeah.
There we go. So can you see that? I'm 3 holes in from the outside. And I really like that. And I highly, highly recommend you all do the same. The reason, you can go back to the front now. The reason I say that is it really lessens the travel of the ailerons. You can see they just don't move a whole lot. It's good though, if you have any kind of crosswind, you still want that aileron control to help bring the aircraft in nice and smooth. But when the wings are swept this way, they really don't move enough to really even affect the tail. And this is a way that I'm telling you, it flies fine with the ailerons active the whole time, as long as they're only making that small movement. But that really helps at slower speed to have that aileron deflection, to keep the aircraft coming in nice and gently. I've seen a lot of guys that like to disable the ailerons, and the problem with that is in a heavy crosswind, you start to lose some of your tail authority coming into land. And anyway, personal opinion here, I recommend most of our customers set it up just like this. I think you're going to be really happy with it, the way this flies. Now for the elevator, As far as the rates go, I've been rocking this at 100% throw. Let's see, let me look at my expo. I believe it's 30%. Okay, it's at 20% expo. But I have been running the 100% travel, and I really feel you're gonna want that. You need that, especially you guys that are talking about flying off of grass. I would say take off flaps and a 100% throw, because you're gonna need it to help you rotate and get off the ground with that. At slower speed, the tail deflection to help you get it to rotate, and then coming into land to hold your angle of attack. You're gonna want that stick travel. Now, I do recommend running a little expo with that, because at higher speeds, you can get the wobble if you're not smooth on the stick, and that expo really helps to get rid of that for you. I did run 100% throw on the rudders also, but I do have 20% expo there just to help soften the nose steering when I'm going down the runway. But it really felt good with the full travel on the rudders, as you can see. Turning radius is pretty good on this one also. Trying to think of any other questions just off the top of my head that I may have missed right now.
Someone asked me about strobes earlier.
No strobes on it. They're just solid day bright LEDs around the aircraft. No strobes on this one. Oh, somebody wanted to see it beside the big one. Let me set the wing plate back on it. Oh, and the big airplane is not going anywhere, just so everybody knows too. I've seen that a couple times. Let's see. I'm going to sweep the wings. She's sticking around. She's staying here. Let's see. Here's the bigger F-14. Let me grab it for a second. Ooh. If you've never actually seen one of these in person, it is huge. There's the big one. Let's see. Can you see it right now? Side by side right now. There you go. There's the twin 80 F-14 from here also. Still a fantastic jet. I love mine very much. It's probably going with me this weekend. But yeah, there's the big F-14 also side by side. I know there was somebody asking that a second ago. Ooh. Try not to break it as I set it down. There we go. Any other questions, guys? Like I said, just going through it. As far as setup or anything like that. 70, 18, good one. Just kind of looking through the comments now.
Someone was asking if they could put a afterburner in this one.
Yes, we don't currently offer a afterburner. Okay, so somebody, sorry, I forget Lori doesn't have her microphone on right now. Somebody's asking if you could put an afterburner on this. We don't currently offer one that works on a 64 millimeter in runner. There are other ones on the market that will. So I'm pretty sure you're going to be seeing afterburner kits come out for this aircraft. But yes, you can attach other brand afterburners that fit on a 64 millimeter in runner motor to this aircraft. No issue. Yeah, the Rio, they left him in 1945. So the Rio, you know, guys, keep on letting us know about it. I understand. We've seen the complaints on it. We're talking to Freewing. We hope that maybe we can add a Rio to future models in the future. Right now, that was just a small miss on that one. But yeah, just keep on. We're gonna address it in the future. We do also offer a second pilot for customers that want to add the Rio in there. It is in there as a spare part. You could pick that up.
Someone wants to see it compared to an 80.
I got an A4 right here. It's pretty similar to the A4. Let's see if I can not drop this getting it off the wall though. I don't remember how I hung it up there. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to re-glue that on now. Okay. So like here's the A4. I mean, almost exactly the same size. Now, of course, the A4 has a big fat body on it, but you can see front to back, nose to tail are almost identical size-wise. How's that doing it for you? Ta-da. Also an amazing airplane, guys. If you want an A4, these are in stock also. Hopefully Lori don't step on it. I'm just gonna set it on the ground.
Don't believe
So there's that. Hopefully that one answers that. I want one. Yep. Yep. Gooses comes pre-dead. Yep. We've seen all the jokes coming in on that one. So there you go. Wingspan on the Tomcat is the same as the A4. I doubt it. I don't remember how big the A4 is, but it's roughly 36 inches. Just got my tape measure in my hand. Now with the wings swept, maybe. This is 48 inches, so no, it's quite a bit bigger. That was a rough guess. Now the exact wingspan is on the website, of course. I was just throwing a tape measure out there and checking real quick. Max speed, like I said, I haven't had a chance to radar it yet. Maybe we will this weekend, but I mean, I'm pretty good at guessing. I'm going to say this is probably in the 120 to 130 mile an hour range. But like I said, we will get it on radar. I don't want to tell you guys the wrong thing on it. F-117, yeah, that would be pretty cool. Oh, A6. I'm sorry, David. I thought you said A4. I don't have an A6 here, or else I would check it, but yeah. Well, guys, I mean, is there any other questions about the actual aircraft here before we start, you know, looking at wrapping this up? But I mean, I just want to know, you know, how many of you guys have ordered it? Are y'all excited to see this airplane? I know, like I said, I've seen a ton of people jonesing for this one. Touchscreen ring, making an F-22. Let's see. Can't talk about it. Top secret. Just trying to make sure we don't miss any questions, though. Like I said, magnetic nose cone on this one, too. I mean, there's a lot of this we've already showed on all the product videos, but there's the magnetic nose cone also. So if you do damage that, you can get that on there. The little not ordnance, I forget what this is. This is the radar, if I remember right, on the actual aircraft under here on the bottom. That does come as a separate piece you glue on. Just trying to think of anything else. It's for a gyro. What control?
What is it control? I'm not familiar with.
So the gyro controls the elevator, the ailerons, and the rudder on the aircraft. If I turn it on, let's see. Go to the on position. So the gyro is going to be stabilizing the aircraft. So if a gust of wind comes and the aircraft starts to tilt and not have any input put in from you, it's going to automatically try and keep that aircraft going in the same orientation. And you can hear it doing that correction now if I wiggle the airplane around. So if the nose goes up, the elevator automatically puts a little bit of down in to keep the aircraft flying in that same orientation. It smooths out those bumpy days and bad weather conditions to make it feel better. Now the other position is called recovery or self-leveling. So if you're flying along and you get disoriented, you can flip that switch and the aircraft, say it was in a dive, is going to automatically put a whole bunch of elevator in to bring it back to centered position. It's going to try and maintain level, smooth flight. Same thing if it rolls on its side, it's going to automatically put the aileron in to bring it back to center. And then it also has the rudder control too. So if we take and we run the airplane like this, you can see that the rudders start to correct the opposite way to keep that airplane going forward. So when you're taking off, it automatically, if it starts to drift, will add a little bit of rudder in to try and come back to center. Anyway. Did I miss another one?
Yeah, someone wants to see a full shot of the battery base. If you open it up and turn it around, I'll see.
Yeah, let me pop the battery out so you can really see the room in here, or I can unplug it for a second. Let's see.
Let me see if I can get it adjusted just right for switching the camera.
Ugh. This is with a 6,000 setting inside of the battery bay right now. Like I said, it's slid up underneath right here. the battery is actually setting out to about here.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, she was adjusting. Gotcha. My bad. Looking at the wrong screen. There we go. Okay, so this is a 6,000 in here right now, and the battery is actually setting back to about here to hit the CG marks on the wing. Like I said, this is going to be a heavier pack. I really recommend this on a 5,000 milliamp battery, especially for your first couple of flights, and if you're flying off of grass, keep it as light as possible, guys. But yeah, the battery is actually setting back here. When I've flown a 5,000, I'm putting it just a hair behind, almost even with the release mechanism here. Heck, I can just show you. Let me grab a 5,000. We'll throw her in there so you can see it. And you can also see that wire loom of all the wires that goes under the tray right out of the box. So here's an Admiral 5000, just a standard pack, nothing crazy. This is a 50C. I like to get my strap out of the way before I put the battery in there, and I slide it in right there. Of course, I grabbed the one that had the Velcro on it, so it hung on it.
Have you flown it on a 4,000?
I haven't flown it on one yet, but I know it's going to be no issue flying on the 4,000. Lighter is always a better thing. I am planning on taking it with me, and I know that our other product developer here, Seth, has already flown it on the 4,000. He's tried it on a range of batteries, and he really liked that. Like I said, it just lightens it up, and the 4,000, you just slide it forward a little bit. It fits in here, no issue though, of course. So yeah, I've been putting mine right there, just a hair behind the canopy release mechanism. Like I said, this is hollow up to about here, so you can really shift that battery back. And it's felt good. Now, where it is right now, you can also take, let's go front view for a second, Lori. You can also take and do your CG very easily. So what I like, I'll show you, CG wings on, wings out, wheels down, and there are CG marks right here. Right there's one, and there's the other one. And you can pick the aircraft up. Now, I'm a little bit nose forward still. Whoops. And I don't have the airplane on, so the wings can move. So I still need to go back just a little bit more. But I'm hitting those CG marks on the wings, and it feels really good, guys. That's where I recommend you CG yours. For your first flights, aircraft is very stable there. All right, so then I can grab underneath there again. Pick it up. Still just a little forward. A little forward's okay though. Remember, nose heavy will fly, tail heavy flies once. Something like that. Nose heavy flies bad, tail heavy flies once. That was the ring. But yeah, I really recommend you balance it just like that off of here. And like I said, that battery can move back pretty far in here. I'll show you. It can actually slide all the way back there. So let's go to the top real quick, just so you can see how far that battery actually can go in there. So you can see where I have it right now. Look at how far in there it is. Still coming out, still coming out, still coming out. Now I'm even with it. So I know a lot of guys want to know how far you can shift this battery back. It'll go way back in there. There you go. All right.
Just real quick.
Okay.
I know there's a few guys that just recently popped in after you've already closed up the back hatch, but talk a little bit more about the gyro again.
Yeah, here, I can fire it back up. We can show that one more time.
There is a guy asking about, like, what if the gyro is already in the receiver and stuff.
So if you have a gyroed receiver, you need to make sure the receiver gyro is turned off. I know there's a lot of guys that want to use those type of receivers. You're fine. You just need to make sure it's disabled. Let me pull the wing plate back off again, and we'll show you that gyro again. So the gyro is actually integrated into this board right here. You can see that it's on the blue mode right now, which tells us that it's in self-leveling. If we flip that switch again, it's going to turn to green. That would be in stabilization, and then that light will go off when we put it into gyro off mode. Once again, if you want to use a different gyro than this, you're going to have to remove this board and you're going to have to rewire this airplane. Don't recommend that though, because it flies so good on this included gyro right out of the box. Like I said, what you need to do is just make sure your gyroed receiver is disabled. You can still use it, just make sure that the actual gyro mode of that receiver is disabled. Because like I said, this works so good right out of the box. All the flights you've seen of the aircraft are on this receiver. Front cam. There it is. Yep, there we go. So yeah, all of the flights you've seen have been on this gyro. I know the other gentleman that works here has been testing it, has flown it on this gyro. We have not had any issues, guys. It really does fly great right out of the box. This is perfectly tuned as it is. I don't recommend taking that out of there. Now we just need to get these in the big one. One day, maybe. Which size pilot for the back? You can get the same pilots that's in the front for the back if you want to put them in there. It should be available as a spare part on the product page. John will have a 3200 shoved all the way to the back, probably. It actually does do a pretty good high alpha, guys, and I didn't get it as aggressive as I want to yet. I wanted to make sure that the airplane lived until now. The other thing I really want to try and do is land it with the wing swept, because it flies so nicely with the wing swept. I think that I could do it. That might happen this weekend. If it does, you'll see it on video. Hopefully it works. It is coming to the European site. I know that we put an update out on Hobby Squawk already for it. There you go. April 2nd, I think, is the estimated date right now. We have some shipping issues, unfortunately, going on in the EU that are slowing it down a little bit. Yeah. Yep, no battery tray cutting, no mods. This thing's ready to go right out of the box, David. It's going to be great. Like I said, guys, I'm super excited. You know, they've been selling very well. I'm sure you're going to see a ton of customers actually start flying them this weekend. If you're not already over on the Motion RC Facebook customer community, I highly recommend you go check that out and give it a follow, because guys are going to be showing this thing off a lot over the next few days, I have a feeling, and sharing their experiences. All right, Lori says we have another question from the audience.
Can you put the gyro in stabilization mode without it being on a switch?
No. Okay, here's the next thing, and I wanted to go over that also. Thank you for reminding me about it. So the gyro is what I would run if you can't pick between the gyro or the thrust reverse. So you need 8 channels at minimum for this aircraft, with the swing sweeps, the flaps, the gear, everything. 8 channels will give you control of the gyro. Now, for customers that want to use the thrust reversing feature, you need at least 9 channels. I know I said 10 in the video, it's 9. There's not a lot of 9-channel receivers out there, so I just went on ahead and said 10 is why I said it that way. That being said, if you have to pick one, if you're going to run an 8 in here, I've flown it on the 8 for most of those flights, because that's what I had. All you have to do is leave the thrust reversing wire unplugged, and it will work just fine. But I always recommend you have control of the gyro. That way, if something ever happens, you flip it back out of the gyro and you fly the airplane in to land. Shouldn't, but I always recommend having control of that gyro. It is a crucial thing. No matter whose gyro you're using in any airplane, you should always have the ability to turn the gyro off. Personal opinion there. Weather is willing. I will maiden mine tomorrow. Did you get yours already, Hamilton's hangar? I guess a lot of guys, the shipping notices were today, so guys up in the north are probably already getting them pretty quick. Or if they paid the expediting shipping. How'd y'all like that release where it was, hey, by the way, here's an airplane and you can order it this time? We've been trying to do that more and more, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know the response, like I said, have been really good.
Would you recommend this as a first RC?
No, I would not recommend this as your first RC airplane.
Not even as your first EDF, really.
Still don't know if I'd recommend it for your first EDF jet either. You know, the Avanti always comes to mind as a great first aircraft. You know, we want to be honest with you guys. We want to see you be successful here at Motion RC. I don't want to just sell you a product. We want to see you succeed in this hobby. So I don't recommend the F-14 as your first EDF. I really don't. I know there's going to be people that do it, but I really recommend Avanti if you want a really good sport trainer. If you want to stay scale, T-33 is a great first EDF. The L-39 always makes a wonderful first EDF aircraft. I would not recommend this for your first one. This is a pretty high performance aircraft, and with the wing sweeps and some of the other things in it, this just really shouldn't be your first EDF jet, if I'm being honest.
Are you going to do a grass ops flight?
Yes. Everybody's asking about grass ops. I've answered that as many times as I can. I'll be in Jacksonville for Florida E, or not Florida E, for
Jack's Jet Madness.
Yeah, there we go. Jack's Jet Madness this weekend. They said they have a runway it's grass runway out there. I've seen it in the past. Supposedly, it had a bunch of holes in it last year, but supposedly they fixed it and it's all cleaned up now. So I'm hoping to fly this weekend out of the grass. If I do, you will see that next week. I'm going to fly it out of the grass as soon as possible. I just haven't yet. It has plenty of power though. I have no reason to think this won't fly just fine out of the grass. Landing gear are very strong on this one. Like I said, we showed that earlier too. I know guys are getting into it a little later here. The wing plates, they're actually open right now. Let's go back up to the top for a second, just for the guys that are getting in, for grass guys that are asking. So a big improvement on here. If you can see this, the wing plate, instead of ending here, is extended over top of the retract trunnion. The retract trunnion is right underneath this metal plate. And that's going to really, really strengthen these up. Now, if you crash land, you can still tear up the landing gear. I'm not saying they're indestructible, but this will keep them a lot stronger than it has been in the past with some of the other models. This piece right here is going to really reinforce the top of that gear. Now, I have had some less than perfect landings. Back to the front. Excuse me. I have had some less than perfect landings. I have them on film. We might have to share them at some point just to show you how strong they are. But I've done the flopping it in and bouncing down the runway on accident because I'm not perfect always. Sorry, guys. Talking for an hour, your throat gets dry. And they've been holding up really well. These are very strong landing gear. Now, at the end of the day, if you crash land them, they still tear up, yes. But for most guys making decent landings on grass, pavement, anywhere, these are going to hold up really well. I also have the box behind me. I forgot to say that. I really like how pretty the box is on this one. You know, some of them have been white in the past, but this one actually has a full colored box, which is kind of fun. Didn't know if I threw that one out there anytime there. And that's how big the box is for guys that are wanting to know.
Is there any carbon fiber or reinforcement behind the gear mount in the fuse? I think the front here, maybe?
I don't know if they're talking in here. Hard to tell. I don't know the question is exactly what it is. Now, I know there's spars that go all up in here. You can actually see them right in here. Right here, flip cameras real quick. Now, there are spars that go all up in here, and there's some down in the bottom too to reinforce this section of the aircraft, if that's what you're talking about. Oh, sorry, there you go. You can actually see some of the spars right in here, up here. There's one on the other side too, and I believe there's one down in the bottom too, if I remember right. There are spars around the aircraft though to stiffen it up. As far as the wing plate goes, you have the metal reinforcement plates that go all the way across. I'm not sure if there's one that goes right through here or not. Hard to tell because I just haven't looked that deep into it. I think there's one that goes right there though.
Flip the plane and look behind the main gear.
Flip the plane and let you look behind the main gear. Okay, we can do that. We can flip it over for you. That's what we're doing at the end of the day. We're letting you look at the model up close here.
Letting you get situated.
Yep. I'm trying not to set this on top of this because it'll dent it though. Trying to keep it looking pretty for the show this weekend. Okay, I think they're talking about right here. Now there is a plate behind it. Can you? Oh, can't see it. All right, hang on. Moving stuff around. How's that? Let me see right here. This is what he's wanting to see, I think. There is a plate that goes all the way behind the gear right here. See that plate? And like I said, there's a beefed up plate right in here too. Let me see here. I'm gonna grab the camera for just a second. See if I can run this for a moment here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I don't usually do this part, guys.
I'm going to switch to the front while you're adjusting.
Here we go, here we go. I got it. I'm right there. Now you can really see it. Let me move that missile too. I'm wanting that good shot of it. There you go. Now we can get that missile out of the way. There you go. So you can actually see that plate is actually embedded from here to back to here. And there is a hole like there is a carbon spar right there. Now, of course, I don't have the schematics in front of me, but it does look like there is a piece of carbon right in there. But yes, that plate starts here and goes to here. And like I said, that metal trunnion is on top of it too. And here, while we're here, we'll even flip it for you. And it tucks up in there real nicely. Just like that. And coming back out. So hopefully that answered your questions for those that wanted to see that there. All right, you can come back. That answered his question. Perfect. That's what I'm here for, guys. I'm trying to answer all the questions I can today while we're live. Now, of course, I'm still going to be lurking all over the customer community and everywhere else, answering questions on there as much as I can throughout the weekend and now going forward, of course. But there's that wing plate. Put that back on there so it looks pretty. I'm not going to screw it down just in case we get some more questions about it. We're getting close to an hour in, though. So is there any other questions, guys? Like I said, this is your time to shine. Let me know. Is there any other questions I can answer pre-flight wise? Make sure you check the gyro. Like I said, we have a quick tip video coming out here in a little bit. Once you've got yours in, you can watch the build, assemble it, and follow along. But make sure you check that gyro, because like I said, mine came out of the box with my elevator correcting the wrong way. Easy to fix. All you do is flip those two ports that I showed y'all earlier that are labeled elevator. You just take them and go opposite way, and that will make the gyro correct the right direction. All right, we got another one.
Wing plate, plastic foam.
Wing plate, this?
Yep.
This is foam. This is foam, guys. Let's see. I think I can come up here. I should have flipped this around. All right, here we go. There's the wing plate. It has plastic points glued in where your screws actually go. I hope I didn't just drop that screw. I didn't. There's one screw in there right now. I was gonna cry. And then you have this little antenna that glues in on the top of it also, right here. But yeah, there you go. This is foam. Fits perfectly though, as you can see. Oh, you know the one thing I didn't talk about either. So the manual shows, I forgot what it is right off now off the top of my head. I did make a slight adjustment to my elevator neutral position. Now it's not so far off that the manual is not going to work for everybody, but I'm looking for my little, there it is. And I'm going to tell you what I actually ended up hitting here. I needed just a hair more up to mine. Let's see. So for my neutral position, you measure it from the top down. I think it was 20, if I remember it.
22.
22 is what it said. And I ended up at, I'm just 29 is where I ended up for my elevator neutral. So I'm just a hair bit further up elevator on mine. Just want everybody to know that. Like I said, the book said 22, I believe is what it is. We're gonna double check this real quick, and I'm at 29. So it's just a little bit more up elevator to it, but that's where I actually ended up settling in at. Like I said, it flew fine right where they said, right out of the box, but I ended up having a little bit of up elevator trim. And I flew mine a little more nose heavy. So, you know, as you move that battery back, 22 may be perfect, but me personally on the wings, that's where I put mine at. And I just letting you know, needed a little more elevator. Let's see. Can the plane be flown with the gyro turned off? Absolutely. You have that setting with the gyro right out of the box. You just put that position in the off position. It does help with the wing swept to have that gyro, especially if it's windy outside though. Right. Victor, no afterburners currently available at Motion RC for the 64 millimeter size, but there are other guys that sell some 64 millimeter size ones.
It was 22.
22, yep, okay, so I was right. So the book said 22 millimeters from the top down on the elevator. Like I said, we're at 29, so not bad, it's just a little bit different on mine. Pre-flight. I want to make you guys all be successful with this airplane. That's my goal. I want to see success. I want to see happy customers. I know. V2 of the 80. One day, hopefully. Not yet. It's still going to stay, guys. The 80 millimeter is not going anywhere.
What's the dimensions of the canopy plastic for FPV gimbals?
I can try and measure the canopy real quick. Where'd my, let's see. Well, this one's inches. He probably wants millimeters, but maybe. And it's not long enough for the length. Let's see. So I'm going to measure from the front to the back of the canopy. It's 12 inches of glass. Where the pilot is setting, it's just shy of 3 inches. Let me see that in millimeters just in case you're an EU customer. 50, I'm going to say right at 50 millimeters, 55 millimeters tall from the pilot's body up to the top of the glass. And width-wise inside the canopy, you're at right about 70 millimeters. Width-wise across it. Hopefully that answers the FTB question for you. FPV, can't talk.
Yeah. 6,000 too heavy.
Victor, I was able to put the 6,000 in it and CG it. I don't recommend that heavy of a battery for our grass guys. But if you're flying off a pavement, yeah, you're going to be able to fly it with the 6,000. It's just going to fly real heavy with that battery in there. I can put it back in for just a second so y'all can see it. And once again, you can see the battery here. It actually can slide under this. So if you can see where it is right now, I can take it. Okay. Once again, you can see where my battery is. So this is even with this wall. You can actually slide it all the way back in there to here. And I can grab a 6,000 real quick, Victor, and show you. It's going to be a touch nose heavy that way, but the aircraft should fly that way. But I don't recommend it if you don't have a hard surface, because it's going to have a hard time rotating. Oops, I forgot to unplug it. I was wondering why that was so hard to get out of there. 6,000 Pro Pack. Let's see, and I think I had it in here sideways. Just like that. And bring her to the very back of the battery bay. Like I said, it's going to CG just a little bit here forward on this. And it's tight, but there it is. And Like I said, just hangs down a little bit. Go to the front if you're not. Okay, there you go. That is with a 6,000 in there, slid all the way to the back of the battery bay. Nose hangs down just a hair. But yeah, it'll fly no problem with that extra weight.
Will the CG change when the wings are swept?
It's built to have that CG change when the wings are swept. It's not an issue. But when you do your CG from the wings where they're molded into it, make sure they're out, gear down. That's how this is designed to CG. Jameson. I love you, Jameson. Your comments are always the best. Victor, I can't tell you if your 6,000 is going to fit in the aircraft dimension-wise. I don't know how big it is. I can try and measure across here real quick, though, what I can do for you guys that are trying to size batteries. Let me throw a measuring stick in the battery bay real quick. Now, these are going to be rough estimates with me just doing it right here, of course. But let's see here. Y'all want millimeters or inches or both? I'll give you both. All right, here we go. Oops, almost threw my canopy in the ground. I would have cried a little bit. Still hurts me, even though I get them from motion. Hurts me when I damage my planes. All right, so for millimeters first, your opening from one side to the other is 65 millimeters across. Let's see, can I do this where everybody can see what I'm measuring? So we can all measure together here on that top shot. There you go. So here we go. So across from here to here, 65 millimeters. From inside to the back plate, it is 50 millimeters. So from here to the plate and the wing where the battery will stop, you have 50 millimeters of movement inside of this. Just want you to know that. And I don't have a long enough stick, but I have, I mean, this is all the way to 18, let's see, 110, it's 180 millimeters to the end of my stick, which is right here. I mean, that's pretty far up in here. So from here to here, 180 plus 130 is what? 300 and, trying to think, 310 millimeters from the spar here all the way to the front of the battery bay then. All right, so let me grab an incher now.
Do heights too.
Oh, heights, I'm sorry, yep. Let's see.
Any kind of cooling vent for the battery?
For the height from the floor of the tray, you are right at 52 millimeters tall from the bottom of the floor to the shelf. All right, that should answer the questions on what battery size should fit. Oh, I guess, do you want them in inches too? I'm doing this with a tape measure, so it's not like exact science. Yep. 2 inches tall by 2.5 wide. I mean, you can do the conversion too, but this is just roughly sticking the measuring stick in here. And 2 inches to the plate back here. And then from the plate to the front is 11.5 inches. All right.
Any kind of cooling vent for the batteries?
Yes, so there is a hole. Can you see this right here on the top shot? There's a hole right here, letting air come up through into the bay, down this channel, and out the back. You can see this hole right here. You can see it actually goes to open air. Now, it's not like rammed in or anything. Where the air enters the front, hang on, I'll show you. Let me put the canopy on, and I'll show you the battery cooling. So let's see. Ooh, ow. Juggling the airplane. Give me just a second here.
Push to the front while you juggle.
Yep. So, still trying to figure it. There it is, right there. All right, so see that little black port there on the side of the aircraft? I believe that's the gun port. You can see it's hollow.
Right.
Yep, right there. Lori's pointing at it right there. That's hollow. That's an air scoop. All right, back to the front. And that's going to scoop the air in right jaw. I think. Hang on, maybe I lied on that. Is that not hollow? I thought it was. Maybe not. But the air can definitely get up right through in here. I thought there was a scoop there, which could be easily cut out to make it a scoop, though, if you really wanted to get some more added cooling. There's that little scoop right there. You could literally cut that out, and it's right into the forward battery area here and lets that air right in. But the other air is going to come right up through there and travel through the fuselage into the aircraft. But anyway, it hasn't got hot. I've flown it about 30 times now, back to back to back, that day we were out there filming that video. That's the funny thing. I probably put 10 back to back to back to back to back flights. I'm talking like 2 minutes between them, and never had an issue with it getting hot. That's not your fingernail, Wes. Well, guys, if there's no other questions, I think we're going to probably wrap this up. Now, once again, I am available for all of you guys. Hit me up. Facebook, Instagram, wherever Motion RC account is. You can message me and ask questions. I'm trying to keep up with them as they come in. If I see one that's a big question, I'll make videos about it as much as I can. Like I said, we're going to have a quick tip coming out at some point. I don't know if it's today, tomorrow, the next day. I'm not sure. But there's going to be a quick tip coming out on that gyro settings for your tail. Make sure you guys check that before flying it. Anyway, I'm super excited, guys. I'm so happy this airplane's here. I know a lot of you have been wanting another F-14 for a while, and I really think this one is the Cadillac F-14. You can't ask for much more in an airplane than what you're getting with this one. So, all right, guys. Well, if that's it, I hope y'all enjoyed today's show. I hope all of you get out and fly yours this weekend. Share them with us over on the customer community. I love seeing it. And as always, whether it's land, sea, or air, Motion RC has what you want. See you in the next video, guys. Bye.